You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Our resident doctor.
Dr. Oz.
Hi, my friends.
Now, Dr. Oz,
What's
Angela
up,
Yee has a peeing problem.
Again?
She pees a lot, yes. And
Yes.
she's not here right now because she's peeing. What do you suggest for somebody with a peeing problem?
Well, as long as she's not here, we can talk about her. So, as you know, peeing problems can happen for a lot of reasons. Sexually transmitted diseases can sometimes cause that.
Whoa.
I just want to be honest about stuff.
Yes.
All right.
Well, usually, though, it's from you drink a lot of water and you drink a lot of caffeine. And then the bladder fills up and you don't have no choice. And it comes pretty quickly. So as the bladder stretches out, it reaches this point of no return.
Oh, she's here.
And,
Okay,
then it returns.
All right. Okay.
They were talking about you. I defended Your Honor. You should know. I jumped right in there. Right,
I
protected
drank
you.
a lot of water this morning and a juice.
What did I say?
Yep, that's what you said.
Any caffeine?
Nope.
That's good.
Actually, no, I had green tea. I'm lying. I had green tea,
Right, so-
and I had a juice, and I had water. That's all I had so far.
Now, let me thank Dr. Oz.
Well, I was gonna big him up because that showed a lot of character.
Now,
what
Dr.
happened?
Oz, my
Dr.
daughter got really sick.
Yes.
And as a dad, I took her to the emergency room, and I was nervous and scared. So I was like, "Who could I call? Who should I call?" I didn't know.
He started to call Dr. Dre, but then he thought
I
about
started to call Dr. Dre, but I figured Dr. Dre might not know what to do.
Then he called Dr. J.
I called
and
Dr.
he was playing hoops. He
played
wasn't free.
basketball, so I called Dr. Oz. Now, mind you, Dr. Oz was on vacation. I could just imagine Dr. Oz maybe in some tighty whities on a huge yacht chilling.
That's how you pictured him?
How boring
That's
was your
interesting.
vacation, Doc, that you stopped what you was doing?
You know, I tell you, it was the biggest thrill in my life to have my grandkids around me. It's all I love doing. But the only one thing will get me away from them is if someone else's kids have issues.
Right. So I called
you
Dr.
can't.
Oz and told Dr. Oz what my problem was. In the hospital that my daughter was, and this is one thing I want to talk to Dr. Oz about. It wasn't I don't want to say a kid-friendly hospital, but it didn't have a great children's pediatrics place. So I didn't know that. I just took my kid to the hospital and was like,
Right,
she's
any
sick.
hospital is the-
right.
right.
So Dr. Oz was like, well, we need to get into my hospital or a better pediatrics hospital. And Dr. Oz worked it out on his vacation to make sure that I could transfer my daughter from the Jersey hospital to the New York hospital. He made sure people were taking care of her, asking questions. And thank God everything worked out right, and my daughter was fine after 6 days in the hospital. But I just want to say thank you because I really appreciate it.
God bless Dr. Oz.
You're
man.
very kind to
you
say
You
that.
didn't have to take that call. You were on vacation, and he continued to call to make sure she was okay.
That's such a big deal
and I
because your kids are
appreciate
the
that.
biggest thing.
You're kind to say that, but I got to say, my biggest thrill is being able to help folks. It makes me feel fulfilled. I don't do it just because it's altruistic. I feel better about it. And I was telling my teams, we won another Emmy this year.
Congrats.
Thank you. And
Humble brag.
No, I'll be brag for a second about my team because it's really about them. Because I just show up and say the right. You've been on the show. It's a team that makes every little bit of the trains run on time that makes the show work. So I walk down the street and people thank me for the show all the time. But my team never gets thanked by anybody because they don't know they're involved. Right. And so for an honor, especially from your peers, to say, "Hey, listen, you guys are the best show on daytime," to win an Emmy.
9 Emmys.
9 Emmys means the world to all of us. But they get the reward that way. I get it from taking calls like you because that took so little time for me. I knew this game a little bit. I knew who to call to help a kid do better, have a good experience, have the parents think better about it. And when I did Jimmy Kimmel's show, which he talked about his son, who was born as a blue baby, which means the blood supply and the heart's all backwards. They have to fix it. And when he starts talking about the fact that every father is charged with one really basic thing, iconically, take care of your child.
Protect and provide.
Right, exactly. That's the most important thing. So if a father feels they can't protect the child, either because they don't know what to do because you lost too many things coming in, or because you can't afford to, it becomes a big issue.
No, you talked me off the ledge because I was wild. I mean, your daughter's there. My daughter was there. She had a rash and there's so many different things, and she's itching. And there's nothing I can do. You can't stop. It's not like you can hug it or a Band-Aid and patch something up.
Kiss
There's
it.
nothing I can do. And I'm freaking out. My wife's trying to get me to calm down. The hospital's looking at me crazy. I'm like, stop it now. And Dr. Oz, calm me down. Calm down. But I really appreciate it because you didn't have to take the call. You was on vacation.
It also shows that you haven't let the celebrity overcome what you actually are, which is a doctor.
Right.
I tell you,
on vacation.
when that happens, you're done.
Yeah.
It's not just you're done because you're not as connected to people, but it's not fun anymore. Right? The whole reason what makes it enjoyable is because you have a purpose. You got a connection. And we have that little weird thing going on. Everyone talks about the work-life balance, and you talk about it a little bit in your book, right? So there's a need for us to be better and different, right? That means we got to separate from everybody else. You got to be unique. At the same time, you want to be like everybody else because you get intimacy, connected. That's what we're all about. So so we're being told, be different to be better and be the same to fit.
Yeah.
And so you got both. So you get it to the top. It's like a point there. It hurts to sit there. There's no flat plane to sit on there.
It hurts to sit on that point.
Yeah, so you got to either
Without
climb.
lube,
You're
too.
climbing up once exactly. Only you climb up one side or the other. But that's what we're supposed to be. So it's an opportunity for me to climb up a little bit, look over the other side, and say, hey, there's some intimacy over there.
Let me ask you this, since you brought up Jimmy Kimmel, because we were talking about this earlier, and healthcare, because he did bring up that issue because he was saying that everybody should have access to healthcare. But then there was this controversy over Miss USA, and they asked her, is healthcare a privilege or is it a right? And people were upset that she said it's a privilege. Now, what do you think about healthcare here in the United States? Do you think it's something that everybody should have the right to have access to, or do you think it's a privilege you have to work in order to earn your healthcare?
You cannot be a wealthy nation without being a healthy nation. We have to be healthy. We can't function. We're throwing away kids' lives if they're unable to be as healthy as they could. And I did a great show actually over the weekend. Charlamagne's going to be on VH1 in the fall. I'll brag on you a little bit. They did a great job with Fat Joe talking about how important it is for kids to understand. And right now, we're actually easing up the kinds of foods. We're not being as strict about the foods in schools because people say, oh, kids don't eat it. Well, if they knew how powerful it was for them to eat those foods, they would eat it. I think we're arguing over the wrong things. The reality is that we are twice as expensive to take care of in this country as people in other countries. Now, how is that possible? We're not twice as healthy. We need to be smarter about how we manage our own health. And if we do that, it will cost a lot less money to everybody else. And then we'll have plenty of money to go around. So instead of trying to figure out how you're going to rearrange the money that we're spending, let's just cost less. And then we have plenty of money to go around because it's not a Democrat-Republican issue. It's an American problem we're facing right now. You wouldn't want your daughter not to get health care because she didn't have insurance. And in fairness, there are these programs that provide for kids. But I've gone to, we do free clinics around the country where we just try to take care of folks who are in need and a lot of them have jobs. They just don't own a piece of the rock. They don't have any insurance. Crazily, the kids get coverage. The moms don't. The moms don't. How can the kid be healthy if mom's not healthy? So those are the kinds of crazy cracks we have. But we can make it work. And I do believe both parties want it to work. We just got to make sure we do the deeper disruptive things that are required to make health more efficient in America. We need more value for the money we're spending on it.
Now, after the Emmys, you celebrated an In-N-Out burger.
You follow everything.
You're a bad influence because when I went to LA last week, I went to In-N-Out Burger and I said, well, Dr. Oz went, so I can go. I never saw you eat the burger though.
Oh, I ate it. Oh, animal style. It was good.
How do you recover from that? Or you just say, F it, it's a cheat meal?
Well, nothing is as healthy as sitting with your family and celebrating. So, at the Emmys, it was a little bittersweet because I was so proud of my team for winning, but I had to beat my daughter. My daughter's my biggest competition. Daphne hosts the Chew. Right. So
that's your daughter?
That's my daughter. Yeah.
Well, I did not know that.
So I remember Daphne was your daughter's age. It's just a little itty bitty thing, and she grew up to be this big deal. And so we decided whoever loses got to cook for the winner. That's not really fair because I can't boil water. So I was going to win no matter what. She was going to lose no matter what. So we thought, we'll just figure it out. We'll go to In-N-Out Burger. Took the whole team. We celebrated there in our formal wear. And I figured there's nothing healthier than having a good time with your family, so why not do it here? Then we'll go off and do the usual black tie kind of stuff. I'm proud you went, though.
No, I love it. So listen, you don't have no recovery method? Like the next day you don't fast or?
No.
Do some wheatgrass shots?
No, I do have a recovery method. So I eat that way less than once a year. I haven't been doing In-N-Out Burger in 5 years. They don't build that business on my back because I'm not there enough. I didn't eat breakfast the next day. I didn't feel like it. I felt hungry, but I knew it wasn't really hungry. It was withdrawal. Now, you can tell a difference by when you eat junk food, a couple hours later, not a long time later, a couple hours later, you're going to feel hunger pangs. You think it's hunger, it's actually withdrawal from the sugar and the bun and all that other stuff. And if you just get past that, then true hunger will happen literally 5 hours later. That's the real thing you need to react to. And if you eat and you just feel relief, that's withdrawal, like for drugs.
Normally, if I eat bad, because sometimes I do, the next day I just make sure I do a wheatgrass shot because that helps me kind of flush out my system.
A lot of B vitamins, chlorophyll, everything. That's a good idea.
Let's stay on that for a second, though, because I heard you say this weekend that we shouldn't focus on calories. We should focus on nutrients.
That's right.
Expound on that a little bit.
So the brain is not designed to look for calories. We never had enough calories in our species history. Our ancestors looked for nutrients, food that had real stuff in it. So when you have enough nutrients, you'll actually naturally stop eating. When you don't eat enough nutrients, you're going to want to keep eating no matter what. So you go to a fast food joint, you're going to want to have a burger and fries, and then another burger, fries, and soda because you're not getting enough nutrients. So your body says, keep going until you get what I need. I'm looking for the right stuff. Whereas if you're eating highly nutritious food, that's why nuts are a big head fake for a lot of folks. People think nuts, they got fat in them, they're fattening. The opposite. You eat nuts, you lose weight. In every study ever done. Why is that? So many nutrients. These are baby trees after all, right? You're getting what a tree's going to need to grow. You get an egg's the same thing. You get these nutrients into your body doesn't want you to keep eating, so it shuts it down. That's why diet sodas don't work. They don't stop you.
How many nuts should you swallow before you get the proper nutrients?
As long as you have enough in your pockets to keep them full.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
I know. He told me over the weekend. He told me over the weekend he always soaks his nuts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he thinks they're a little juicier that way. This is what.
Now, Dr. Oz, for people who, now you said this years ago, but for people that just tuned in now, what is your eating habits? What do you eat per day, and what can people eat?
So, for a couple of things. First of all, automate your eating. Whatever you happen to love, eat that. Eat it because it's tasty, then it happens to be good for you. That's why you'll stay on it. So in the morning, I happen to like Greek yogurt. It's thicker. It's got that creaminess to it. I don't have skim yogurt. That doesn't help you. I eat the real stuff, 2% of regular yogurt, and I put berries in it because it's got fiber and some sugar. I mean, it's got a little sweet to it, but not too much. And then I'll have a handful of nuts.
3 hours later, every 3 hours you eat?
Every 3 hours.
Of nuts? Like how
handful of
many?
nuts. You know, like just fill my palm up with nuts. I'll just grab a scoop of nuts. Jeez. You want to cup the nuts, like cuddle the nuts.
Do you tell them to cough too?
No, you taught me that word. Was it cuffing? Was that your word, cuffing?
Cuffing, yes.
Cuffing season.
Yes.
You cuff
so
some nuts.
Right.
And then at lunchtime, I'll have primarily a salad, but I'll put some protein. Could be eggs, could be salmon, turkey, grilled chicken, all that stuff, whatever you want. I don't even mind meat, really. I just don't want a lot of it. The meat doesn't make the meal. It's the meat that's on top of the salad. Okay. And then I'll have olive oil and vinegar dressing usually. Again, I haven't thought about it at all. I'm eating sort of the same thing every time because I'm saving my energy to make decisions for later in the day.
Right.
That's why you have a bewitching hour, like 4 in the afternoon, where you begin to fall apart. We can only make decisions for a couple hours, and then we run out of energy for it. And then you crave sugar to make more decisions. So around 4 in the afternoon, I usually have dark chocolate. I love 70% cocoa chocolate with some more nuts if you want. And then for dinner, then go splurge. Whatever you want to have for dinner. Enjoy it with your friends. Eat different things.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't eat a lot for dinner. My big meal is my lunch. But I'll eat diversity at dinner. So, because you got to be social. The biggest problem I found with dieters, they don't tell you unless you get them into these intimate moments, it's just lonely to be on a diet.
Yeah.
Because we build family and culture and friendships around meals. Right. So if you can't eat meals with your friends, you're going to be by yourself. So I want you to go out and have a good time at dinner. Just make it not your last meal.
I always tell my friends, because I have friends that are like, oh my God, I'm getting so fat. And they want to starve themselves.
No.
And I'm always like, if you starve yourself, you're going to slow down your metabolism, and then you're going to actually end up, when you do eat, gaining more weight than you would have if you didn't eat. And I always tell them, you have to still eat. You just got to make better decisions.
Yeah. Can I add one thing to it? Because you're absolutely right. I think people ought to do 12 hours on, 12 hours off. That's what I actually.
What do you mean?
So I stop eating meals at around 7:38 in the evening.
Me too.
And then I don't eat anything again until not earlier than 8 in the morning.
Okay.
So that's roughly 12 hours. And I learned this actually from bodybuilders and actors who have to gain weight and lose weight, like action stars.
Hugh Jackman, baby.
Hugh does this exactly. He'll on and off for 12 hours. So for 12 hours a day, he'll let his hormones restabilize. You actually aren't even hungry in the morning. And you can have bulletproof coffee or something, coffee with a little bit of fat in it, like coconut oils. It gives a little combination because it slows down the caffeine absorption if you want to get a couple extra hours without eating in the morning. But that gives your body a chance and it turns out you don't make up the calories that you would have eaten in the time you can eat. You actually just eat less. It's a great way to lose weight.
Now, Dr. Oz, I want to ask you a question. Since we talked about your team and you guys, congratulations winning an Emmy.
Thank you.
Again, your 9th Emmy. What's your policy at work? Because we've been talking about Steve Harvey and the letter that he sent out to his staff about, you have to make an appointment. Don't try to attempt to talk to him in the hallway. What's your policy for your staff?
Well, first of all, Steve's a good friend of mine, and I think the world of him. I know in my organization, my team would be squeezing my head like a zit if I tried to not talk to them all the time. I always tell them, listen, I get more than 100 people work for me. I pay your salaries. So I want you to be efficient. So if I can do anything to make you more efficient, please bother me, pester me, email me, text me. I want to hear from you. So I do have an open door policy, and I think it makes us work a little better, but that's the nature of my show. But I got to quote someone, Simon Cowell. Told me this before I started my show. And he said, I've done a fair amount of experience, he said, taking care of people. He said, never forget the people you hire are going to kill themselves for you. Don't let them. Because if you let them kill themselves for you, they won't be there to protect you anymore. So they got to recharge. They got to feel rebooted. The hardest thing I've got to do is force people to relax and take time for themselves so they're there for me in the future.
Right. But doesn't that work the other way too, though? you don't want to kill the host either. Like the host needs to reboot, the host needs to refuel as well.
Yeah, without question. And that's what you do. You have to draw lines, and people, I think, respect them after a while. They know that, they know when you're down, you need a little energy. It's not even for me the energy management. It's rather time management. It's energy management.
Yeah.
There are times when I just need to recharge to go out and do the show. The other times when, you know, even though I'm busy, it's okay. We're in the right spot for it.
Is there a policy that you have at work? Like, okay, these are the rules, or is it just, okay, you guys know me well enough to know?
Well, first of all, yeah, my team's here. They're standing. They're looking at me harshly right now. They would never let me pass a policy. So you sort of teach people how to treat you. So I'd never be able to do it if I wanted to. But I wouldn't want that. I don't do that in anything in life. I mean, in the hospital, it's that way. I don't want the nurses to pick their time to approach me. I want them to come up to me and say, hey, you know, the guy in bed 6 is really not doing well. Come help.
Right.
Otherwise, by the time I hear about it, it's the opposite problem. People want to protect me, so they don't tell me.
Right.
You want to know what's
then I don't
had
know.
a bad experience yet.
No, I've had experiences where I'm taxed and I wish I wasn't being bothered. But I also realize, listen, when you send the message out, it can be misinterpreted. I'll give you an example. So a woman that we both adore, Oprah, who's my partner on the show, years ago, and I won't get into the details of it because I don't remember them specifically, but I was walking on the show and the set design was a different color than it usually was. And someone pointed it out to me. I hadn't even noticed really. And they said, you know, it's the first time we've had this color in a long time. And I said, why? I said, because we thought Oprah had said offhanded that she didn't like the color, so we just stopped using the color. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. And so that's how things happen, right? You know, misinterpret what someone said, or you thought they said it, then all of a sudden hearsay, she said. Next, you got policies being made that aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
We have to be careful about the messages we send. If I tell people that I really don't want something, well, they won't do it. But that might not be the right thing to say. I'd rather err the other way, the way that I always did in the hospital, which is tell me, let me judge. And obviously, if don't call me at 2 a.m. for a constipation problem, right? Because you've had it for 24 hours by definition, so I didn't have to hear it about. You know.
But you got an open door policy, though.
Yeah, I don't.
So if they call you 2 a.m, you kind of invited that.
Yeah, I did, and that's why then the next day we say, guys, you know, it's open door, but I'm just like this because I trust you. I trust you to come to me with stuff that needs to be talked about at 2 a.m, not stuff that doesn't. Otherwise, you know, the door is open to you.
They know.
They know.
Now, summer bodies, you know, shut up, Charlamagne. 4th of July. Let's say somebody wants to get their self ready for 4th of July in the summer.
It's too late.
Shut up.
It's not too late.
What can they do right now to get themselves in shape? What could they eat? What do you suggest?
So all month long, we're doing Monday Dieter. It's the May Diet for the show. And we have the Dr. Oz app, by the way, which got nominated for an Emmy. And it's pretty popular right now.
The app got nominated for an Emmy?
I didn't know they did that.
Me neither.
Yeah.
What the hell?
They do it now.
They do it now. So, but this app is, and we have it on our site as well. And on the show, we're talking about May diets because it turns out it's the best time to go on a diet. And there's a reason for it. It's aspirational. You want to look better in 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks.
You need a goal.
Whereas in January, you're doing it because you felt guilty about the holidays. So guilt doesn't motivate nearly as well. So key things, cut out the white foods. And we're sort of talking about the ways that white foods seep into your life. There's white bread, white flour, white sugar, all the things we know aren't great. But more importantly, if you take food away from people, they don't follow the program. You want to give them foods. So we know that people flush water when they eat vegetables, because the body knows that it's safe, so it can let go of the extra fluid that it holds on to otherwise. If your rings are getting swollen on your fingers, if your socks are leaving marks on your ankles, you got water weight. You can flush that out. That's 3-4 pounds right off the bat. And so you feel good about life because you can get rid of that. And then we have a bunch of detoxes we're sharing with folks. And these detoxes flat tummy teas, things like that have gotten really popular, but they're expensive. So we hack them by giving you the individual teas. Like, for example, the best tea for craving is mint tea. It doesn't cost anything. Buy mint tea. In fact, buy the leaves. Because if you put them in the packages, it costs more. The leaves are actually high quality because they haven't ground them up, and you can save yourself money, get a better quality product. And bay leaves work, for example, there are teas from herbs that are good for flushing water, diuretics. Fennel works really well because it takes your bloating down. Fennel's the stuff they give you in Indian restaurants when you leave. Get that licoricey taste to it. Pretty effective. And of course, the best of all, the green tea families, the green, oolong, and black tea. So
that's me every morning.
Yeah, so black tea, you know, is like a black banana. It's got a little overripe, been oxidized. Green tea is not quite ripe yet, but oolong tea, double O oolong tea, is like a yellow banana, perfectly ripe, mix of caffeine and the phenols, the natural compounds that speed your metabolism. That's what I go with.
What about white tea?
I love white tea. White tea is really young tea. It's been picked from the bud before it even matured. Again, if caffeine bothers you, so you don't want to have too much black tea or coffee, the oolong tea and white tea are great options.
Now, you're doing a show called What You See When You Die. Could you explain that? Because I was reading this book called Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, and he says how you should look your mortality in the face, like you're going to die one day. It gives you more of a sense of purpose when you realize that.
So, I operate 1 day a week up at New York Presbyterian. And when you do heart surgery, not everyone does well. So I've had cases where people should have died and miraculously made it back. Not all of them do, but when they come back, I always talk to them. I debrief them because they went to the other side. And I keep hearing similar stories, which is I felt like I was outside my body. I could see you operating. I saw a light. I wanted to get under the light. If I could get under the light, I knew I'd be okay. And then I say, was it scary? And they always say no. Actually, it was blissful. I had to debate whether I wanted to come back or not.
Really?
And then you begin to realize that there's a medical way I can explain this, right? There's the major senses are located in different parts of the brain. And so if your blood supply drops to the brain, the areas that connect the different parts of the brain don't get enough blood, so they shut down. So you get these out-of-body experiences where what you see doesn't match what you hear or what you feel. But the biggest thing I keep feeling is that people are happy. So I feel that we're going to go to a good place. And I have a bunch of people on the show this afternoon, talking about just that. What it was like to go there. Why did they come back? What pulled them in? Even though they knew they're coming back to a life of pain because they were obviously sick anyway, and maybe there are things that were going to persist. But what I'm really uplifted by is what they tell me is out there for all of us. Right. And you're right. It's going to happen. We can lie to ourselves about it. We don't want to deal with it, but it's going to happen. So when you can make peace with the fact that it's going to be pretty cool when it happens, that makes this life even better.
Is there a scientific explanation for like the spirit leaving the body, so to speak?
Yeah, there is. And again, I don't know if it's the only reason that happens, but when your body, when your sensory sessions, the proprioception, which is where you think your body is in space, your sight, your hearing, your smell, when these are all disconnected, they will start firing randomly. So you're going to have visions, and you'll see your life flashing in front of you as those individual cells. We think that individual cells in our brain store memories. That's how it's called the grandmother cell hypothesis. There's one cell that knows what grandma looks like. So when you see grandma, you find that cell. It makes sense. When you get older and you're not quite connecting the synapses, you don't find grandma memories quite as readily. You won't remember second grade quite as well. And that's why number one thing we fear most as a people is dementia. Number one by far. We're okay with bodily injury. We can't deal with dementia, not knowing who we are.
Erectile dysfunction, man.
Erectile dysfunction, close second.
That's what I'm scared of.
But you won't know that it's not erect, so it won't matter.
Now, we had a conversation the other day about gas station pills, Dr. Oz. And a lot of men use gas station pills.
Stamina RX.
Right. Name some of them.
Stamina RX is like the most popular one that I can think of. It's one called Swag.
The 7K.
7K.
Samurai.
What's in them?
There's stuff to make your penis hard.
Allegedly.
There's stuff that can make your penis hard. It's illegal to sell without a prescription. So I suspect they put a lot of other things like arginine and amino acids that open up the blood vessels. Let's talk about erections for a second. So
there you go.
Erections happen. Getting you excited. Erections happen because the blood supply to the penis is suddenly opened up. So blood gorges in, and it gets in there so fast, it shuts off the ability of blood to get out. Like a traffic jam. It's a blood traffic jam in your penis. So, and that women get it as well, as you know.
Yeah,
we have small penises.
Throbbing
yes, you have baby penis.
Yeah, that's our baby penis.
The
our
baby penis. Same principle though. Blood rushes in so rapidly it shuts the blood that comes out, so it stays there for a while. And so the Viagras of the world, Cialis of the world, they open up the blood with nitric oxide, which is a gas, very short-lived gas that was discovered. It was used for heart failure initially, and they realized all these heart failure patients were getting erections. I mean, big-time erections. So they realized, hey, it's a side effect. So they started taking advantage of that pill. And so it works really well, but there are amino acids that can dilate up the blood vessels as well. They're gentler. Foods give them to you. That's
what kind of foods?
Chocolate, mushrooms.
What's a natural thing that gives you an erection?
Chocolate, mushrooms.
Yes.
Not shrooms. Mushrooms.
Mushrooms, yeah, they actually do, theoretically. But then other foods that we think like asparagus and
Oysters?
bananas. Oysters work because they have zinc in them, which is for libido.
Okay.
That helps increase some of the hormones that make you excited about it.
What about a cock ring?
It works. It holds the blood in there. Again, remember I said the blood rushes in and can't get out. So if you can do things that block because it takes more pressure it's hard to get the blood out of the penis. So so a ring prevents the blood from leaving, so it keeps the erection for longer.
What do you know about a cock ring, E?
And what nutritional value is in a cock ring?
Yeah, we were just talking about things that you can do to stay hard because it keeps the blood there.
If you only
he thought
but you can't do it too tight or for too long, right? Because then you might have to.
Well, it's like that commercial, right? If it lasts more than 4 hours. I mean, isn't that the most intelligent commercial ever? if this drug works so well that you have an erection for more than 4 hours, call a doctor. And the average person says, "Oh, where do I get that?"
That's the one I'm buying. I
want that one. 4 Are you kidding me? If the erection lasts the rest of your life, call a doctor. Are you kidding?
Nobody wants to have an erection all the time, though.
Why not?
Charlemagne.
Ain't ready, you don't gotta
could be
get
in
ready.
a bad
That's
situation. You don't want to be in the gym changing with a bunch of guys with an erection.
That's what you wear sweatpants for.
Oh, gosh.
You know the sweatpants do. You take your penis when it's hard, put it over the waistband,
Yes.
and let it sit there for a second.
Till it goes down. Yeah.
Is there any
Tie-
natural remedies? Like you said, some food, but like if I wanted to have a good time tonight.
There's no remedy that works well enough. I would recommend it. The most important thing is what you shouldn't do. When you eat a lot of meat and fried stuff, you muck with your erections.
Really?
Yeah, because you actually mess up the ability of the blood to pour in there. So I just be careful about that. And too much alcohol makes you soft as well.
Right.
So you might get excited, but you can't deliver.
Got you.
Now let's talk about juice a little bit. Is orange juice good for the because everybody says drink orange juice in the morning. Is orange juice good for you?
So I'm doing a show about that this week, and it's, orange juice sales have gone down because people are aware there's a lot of sugar in them. And so here's the deal: orange juice, real high quality orange juice that's not added with sugars and preservatives and chemicals. Yeah, it's good for you. I wouldn't drink too much of it, but I think it makes perfect sense. And I usually cut it with seltzer water personally. I think it tastes better. But I think you got to be careful about juices in general. You're much better off with the real fruit. If you're going to get juice.
Yourself.
Sorry? Yeah.
Squeeze it yourself.
But it's expensive. It takes time. So I get it. I'm okay with juice. Juice is better than most of the stuff we're drinking.
I'll go buy the juice bar, 277 Malcolm X Boulevard.
Exactly
Juice for
right.
Life BK.
We actually have
Exactly
fresh
right.
squeezed
But see,
orange juice.
but your juices, you have juices that aren't just orange juice.
Yeah, we have a lot of it.
So you have a lot of, and yours is also fresh squeeze, and people can get it. You didn't add any sugar to it because it's fresh
No, we
squeeze.
don't add any
No
sugar.
sugar.
Yeah, so that's how you want to drink it, and that's why I did the show
It
actually.
tastes better like that too.
Of course, it's
Once
much
you
better.
stop having things with all that added sugar in it, it tastes so much better.
But it's
and so
hard
much
to
fresher.
buy, though,
Once
like,
you taste
you know?
things that don't have preservatives and
It's hard to
everything in
buy
it,
though. Like for the kids in the morning, like they want orange juices. It's hard to find.
That's not
naturally
in a carton.
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
not in a carton. It's hard to find.
yeah.
Makes it difficult.
Yeah, it does. But thank goodness there's places. I feel like things are becoming more accessible.
And there's no question that if you want to find it, you can find it. And I'm respectful of cost issues as well.
Right.
Which is if you're better off doing it in a way you can get it that's healthy. And there are options out there, but you got to vote with your pocketbook. If we all buy stuff that's better for us, then those prices start dropping. It gets better. And if we don't buy the junky food, we stop subsidizing it. That stuff starts disappearing off the street corners, which is good too.
Now everybody's seen these pictures of Kim Kardashian a couple of weeks ago, and she was on the beach, and you've seen a lot of cottage cheese. A lot of women and guys have cottage cheese. So how do you get rid of that cottage cheese?
It's a $2 billion industry.
Cottage cheese?
Yeah, the cottage cheese in your thighs is a cellulates, $2 billion industry. And
Is there any way to cut that out? Well,
so
get it out without cutting it out?
there are medical therapies that work that they could actually break a little band. So what is cellulite? Cellulite is made because there's tissue, connective tissue between your muscle and the skin, and women have more of this connective tissue than men. So you see the whatever subcutaneous fats there, we all have a little bit. That's why 95% of women have cellulite. 95%.
Wow.
And men don't care that much about it. It really doesn't matter to us, but women really focus on it, so they want to treat it. So these more aggressive therapies do seem to work. I'm more optimistic about those. We've been covering them on the show. But there are creams that have caffeine in them that can sort of plump up the area or shrink the area just the right amount so it looks better. It's a temporary fix, but does get you where you want to be. And those I would use. I would not believe a lot of the things you see, the advertisements you see now that promise you the world for getting rid of cellulite, because if they work, we'd all be using them, believe me.
People have been doing that. They freeze the fat.
Yeah.
So that works.
That works. They freeze it, and they also have procedures where they break those little bands down a little bit.
Freeze the fat on your ass?
No,
Yeah,
the
the
cellulite.
Oh.
I feel like we should be talking to Dr. Miami about this, not Dr. Oz.
I've had Dr. Miami on.
Well,
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah,
man.
he's
Plus,
something
that's
else.
not surgery. It's just freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They when you freeze the tissue without damaging the skin, you send the message to the fat cells they got to die. So the fat cells die off. But you got to be careful about taking care of fat cells anyway, because your body has fat cells distributed where they're supposed to be. So if you get liposuction and take rid of the fat in your belly, then if you gain weight again, it'll go to your chin.
It goes everywhere else but your belly.
Because there's no fat cells left there.
Right.
So I'd rather have fat in my belly than on my chin. Right?
Absolutely.
Because only I can see the fat in
Yeah.
my belly usually.
You
So
can
you
suck your stomach in. You can't suck your chin in. Yeah.
doesn't work.
Now, what about acne? A lot of kids have acne. They're having acne now. What can you do to treat acne? Is there a way to treat acne?
I'll tell you, this is one of the biggest mistakes kids make, and I don't know where this rumor got started. Kids think acne is about keeping your skin clean. I mean, it really isn't.
I thought it meant a lack of sex.
No, it's the opposite. It causes a lack of sex. The problem with the problem with skincare is we are washing our faces and using more and more skin cleansers. The skin companies, they come on our show. They say it's amazing. They can sell all kinds of cleansers, but they know it doesn't help. What kids need to do is moisturize with the right moisturizer. They think it's because of grease, so they don't put anything on there, so they don't take. And you have to exfoliate. If you exfoliate, you wipe the dead skin off. It doesn't trap the pores, so you don't get pimples anymore that become problematic. So exfoliation with appropriate moisturizer is the right way to go. And there are great products out there from lots of good companies. Please start using that stuff and stop washing your face 12 times a day.
With soap.
With soap. It's actually doing it's stripping off this pH balance cellophane sheet that your face is supposed to have to protect itself, and so it pays the price with pimples.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Dr. Oz, we appreciate you for joining us. Thank you so very much. Congratulations on your Emmy.
You're
Congratulations to the whole team.
Absolutely.
The whole team.
Your ninth Emmy.
Ninth Emmy.
Did it ever get old?
No, it's an when they open that envelope, because I've done the other side. I give the award sometimes as well. When you open that envelope and you first read the name, they did tension in the room. Oh, you cut it with a butter.
Is there a friendly competition between like Oprah alumni? Like you,
of course.
Dr. Phil.
Oh, absolutely. We needle each other all the time.
Yeah.
It's fun. It builds character.
Does Oprah still call y'all and say congrats?
Yes.
Wow.
First time she ever called me, so the first year of the show we won, and I didn't think we had a prayer of winning. And so I had taken my kids to Italy to visit with some relatives, and we're there, and it's and when the Emmys happen, and of course in Italy it's like 3 a.m. So Oprah calls me to congratulate me.
So you didn't go to the Emmys?
That first time.
Because
He didn't think he was going to win. He was like, I ain't going. I'm taking my kids
well,
on
I was the first time on a vacation in a year. I worked my tail off the whole time, and then I didn't even realize what the Emmys were about. I didn't know what they were. So I get there. I get the phone call 3 a.m. It's Oprah. So I thought someone's sick. They hello. Because you won. It was worth it.
That's
Do you have
great.
Oprah's name saved in your phone as Oprah?
Yeah.
Oh.
What would I save it under?
I'm just making
Just
sure.
in case
Big O.
Just in case you lose your phone
Somebody
or
steal your
something.
phone.
You know
Queen
what?
O.
You know what? That's a very good point.
Yes, Dr. Oz.
Spell her
Yes.
name
Because
backwards
I'm
or
going to be honest
something.
with you. I'm thinking about stealing your phone right now just to get Oprah's number.
You know what? The Big Kahuna, but then I'll be on
That's even
page 6
worse.
for that.
Yeah.
No, I got to find some. I know what I'm going to call her exactly. I got a nickname. That's perfect. I got it worked out.
But there you have it. It's Dr. Oz. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
The Breakfast Club. Every weekday morning. Tune in.